the staff here is really awesome. You got, tell me about you got a pretty full house.
Yeah, I mean, Sammy's still here. Sammy's been working with
Sammy's
me
killing it.
He is killing it. Yeah, and he's like, I think he's 13 years in now, or like 12, 13 years working with me.
Yeah.
And he did leave for a little bit, and then he came back. But yeah, he's been doing really great.
Yeah, his work's really dope. He
Yeah.
really made huge leaps and bounds.
Oh yeah, super clean.
Yeah, we didn't even touch on that. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. You were talking about trying to make an effort to get better.
Oh sure.
At any point in your career, I don't know why you would want to stop doing that.
Right.
I mean, we all have like a certain amount of time that we can learn in, obviously. And, as you approach 70, you're going to start sucking if you're still alive to a certain degree. You won't be as dope probably as you used to be. But I don't know, if you keep yourself healthy and work, make sure you have work on, you're not just sitting down and eating every day and not exercising and whatnot,
right.
Keeping your lower back and, core strong and whatnot, good lighting so you don't go blind.
Sure.
I don't see any reason to stop learning and trying to be the best you can in your finite amount of time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just, it really lends to all the art that you're doing or that I'm doing anyways. Like the better I get at tattooing, the better I get at illustration, the better I get at all forms, mediums of painting. And then it goes back the other way,
right.
Quite honestly,
Right.
And then plus I think, doesn't it help you stay inspired?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like education and just like, like figuring something new out is kind of exciting.
Yeah. I think if you're not reaching for something new, you're basically not growing, and you're not going to feel good about tattooing. If you're not conquering something, if there's not a goal, I think everything's just kind of more painful. Like you're going to be stuck. But if you're always shooting for something, that's going to give you the motivation to get better, and your tattoos aren't going to be as boring. And I don't know. I think the people that kind of fall off are people that get comfortable or lose interest in tattooing, or they feel like there's nothing left to do. They kind of get in a mode where, this is what I do. It's worked for me in the past, and I'm going to keep doing the same exact thing. And if somebody doesn't like it, then that's their problem.
Yeah.
And I've seen a handful of tattooers take that approach, and
the complacency approach.
Yeah, they just sink. It's hard, because if you're not pushing, if you have no goal, then how's your body going to react to that? How's your mind going to react to not pushing to the next level?
Yeah, totally.
It's going to recede, I think.
I think so too.
Or even staying in the same place as you age, you're
like
kind
a lateral movement.
Yeah.
Yeah. You people go through those kind of situations too, and then you come to like self-realization. You can certainly find yourself kind of in a lateral place. All of a sudden you're like, oh, how did I get here? Mm-hmm. But it's, with just a little bit of tenacity and courage of your own convictions, I suppose you can, it's easy to get out of that. Actually, it's like you just have to try a little bit.
Right.
Just to a certain degree, you got to make some sort of an effort. But I think one thing, in terms of like, to your point earlier, the best way to learn is by watching people up close and asking them some questions and, taking some notes or some mental notes and whatnot. And I think a lot of artists these days are a lot more open to expressing how they do things, considering you have a whole generation of tattoo artists that are learning to tattoo from YouTube, and they're actually doing fine. So, it's not this big secret industry that it used to be. I'm sure there's still some people, it may not even be that. Maybe it's just that they're proud and that they've spent a lot of hard hours, honing their deal, and they don't want to just drop every dime to everybody who asks. I get that too. It's just not as secret as it was when I think you and I, or certainly when I started, probably you as well at this point. But, having the incentive and desire to reach out to these people that you admire their art. Certainly when people ask me that, I am more, and if they show like, asserted interest, it's not just some bullshit like, I want to learn how to tattoo.
Right.
But I'm not going to follow through at all. If I just see any kind of like real glimpse or light, I want to let people know. I wouldn't be as good if people were holding back info. So, I feel like I need to pay it forward.
Right.
And to bring that kind of that phrase back around, there's room for everybody. So, if you're cool to somebody starting off or just people in general, and you try to help them out in a practical way, with sincerity. Although you shouldn't be looking for something coming back to you, you'd be surprised at what might, and where they might go. Because that kid or individual might end up doing something really amazing, and they might just think about you later on. Even in a fleeting way is better than nothing at all. I would think. Well, that's just like my thought on it, anyways.
Yeah, no, I mean that's definitely worth considering. I mean, being mean to newer tattooers, you're not going to win any trophies long term because you don't know where that person's going to end up, and now you've got
even like in 4 years.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. People are really accelerating. It's pretty cool, that the industry lets you do that now. It was a lot harder when we started off to excel quickly for a lot of different reasons.
It was, especially when it came to learning new techniques and things. And I don't even think it was 100% intentional. It seemed like that, but now that I'm a bit older, I think, because I did reach out to some tattooers to kind of get some advice, and they're great tattooers, but some people aren't exactly teachers.
Yeah, that's true too.
Like they were giving me information, and the information was good, but it wasn't the information I needed. They couldn't look at my tattoo and say, okay, well, this is actually what you need to change.
Right.
So there's people like that now. I think like Heather Miranda specifically, like she was so good at kind of giving up the information that both you and I needed.
Yeah.
I mean, it helped that we knew what we needed, but I think there are people like Heather that are actual teachers now. And I think back in the day, there was a lot of good teachers that would offer seminars and whatnot. And I knew other tattooers that would tell me, well, they're not going to tell you the real stuff. They're just going to tell you some stuff. And maybe that was going on a bit, but I think honestly, they didn't really know what was holding other tattooers back.
Yeah, right. It's hard to look outside of like what you're doing. I mean, especially when you're so immersed in what it is.
Yeah, they just figured, well, they're just not doing it right because they don't understand this side. But it wasn't just that. It was like 10 other things that you're doing that you don't even think about. You don't even think to teach it.
Sure. No, that's really true. I mean, I think that's really a valid point. I mean, and not everybody's a teacher. Not everybody's like verbal.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or if they are, they're not. It's not in a way that you can retain, I suppose.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Also, because everybody learns so differently, subjectively, that you can identify with one person, whereas you may not another, and they might be giving you fairly similar advice.
Sure.
Be like the difference between Tony Robbins and Bruce Lee for me. I mean, Tony Robbins says a lot of really cool that's probably on some levels true. Factual, and could probably help you.
Oh, yeah.
But I can't relate with him really hardly at all.
Big old bright white teeth.
Whatever it is about him. Whereas like if, someone like Willie Nelson or Bruce Lee gave me similar philosophical advice, I would take it more deeply than, Tony Robbins. I don't know why I'm bringing him up, but I'm using him as an example.